because I'm amazed at a person who is capable of let's say, swimming in both worlds, swimming in the spiritual realm, swimming in the corporate world, jousting these worlds, balancing these worlds. And yeah, I'm just curious to maybe dig into and start with that, and let's see how it goes from there.
Yeah, so to me, it's all the same. I have what I have sort of boiled it down to as the essence of what I do is to empower people to see the truth of their greatness. And sometimes I do that through teaching yoga. And sometimes I do that through training yoga teachers. And other times I do that through life coaching. Sometimes I do that through corporate leadership development. Sometimes I do that by being an author, sometimes by being a mom, sometimes by attending a ceremony where I get to experience that for myself. So that's kind of if I distilled it into an essential oil, everything that I do is an expansion of that one thing. And I originally kind of got into this crossover, if you will, when after teaching a spiritual practice of yoga for so many years, seeing so many people transform, I really felt it was such a shame that there were so many people in the world who wouldn't get this work. And so I felt that in noticing that, it was my responsibility to find a way to translate the work of yoga into a more mainstream realm, to take the healing and transformative power of teachings of yoga, not asana, not the poses, but the real teachings of yoga into the corporate world, because basically all leadership development programs are based on ancient teachings. They just have fancy language. So it wasn't really a big stretch for me, no pun intended, to go from yoga to coaching and
I love
leadership
that.
development.
I love that. As you were kind of talking about it, it's like just building that bridge, like bridging the two worlds, creating that. So
Yeah.
how, when you talk about like empowering other people's greatness, how did you find that within yourself?
I had a really amazing teacher in my life who I'm a little bit stubborn. I don't respond well to people who are very quite gentle with me, because there's something in me that knows that I could manipulate that, and I don't, and then I don't respect it. It's like a leftover childhood thing, but I'm aware of it. And I had a teacher who basically told me, "You are a control freak. Sit down. If you want to get better, then listen." And it changed my life. And then I got really interested in doing the work of yoga. And once my life started to open up and I realized that my response to uncertainty is to try to control everything, and that was just making my life miserable. When my life opened up and I felt like I was healing and I was connecting with human beings again, all I wanted to do was share that gift with other people. I just looked around me and saw so many people suffering. And so becoming a yoga teacher 25 years ago was one way that I started to do that. And that just like all naturally expanded. And like you said, the bridge, I just kept trying to build bridges to how do we get this to more and more and more people. And just because it maybe hasn't been done in this way before, so what? We'll try it out, see what happens.
Totally. Here on the Cosmic Adults, we talk about the 24/7 spiritual hustle. Sounds like you're one of those hustlers.
Yeah, for sure. And like to tie in, like Ian asked a little bit about this, like how the spiritual realm is kind of an interesting thing. Not everyone associates yoga or personal development with spiritual realm, but I've trained with some really amazing people on the planet in my endeavors to grow my businesses and such. And though I had this funny conversation, so Joe, our mutual friend, I met him by accident, and not so much by accident, because
By accident. Yeah.
a few weeks before that, I was really craving doing some new learning, new training. And I thought about it and I was like, well, I've worked with Tony Robbins and Bob Proctor and Baron Baptiste, like some of the greatest leaders in the world. And I'm like, I would rather hit myself in the face with a brick than do more personal development and take yoga teacher training. That was the actual thought that came to my mind. And I was like, it's not that I know it all. It's not that at all. There's lots to learn, but it was all feeling the same to me. And I knew there was an angle that I was missing. And so I just thought to myself, there's got to be a teacher out there that just resonates with me. And of course, the next day I met Joe. And
the cosmic dad.
Yeah. So began to really try to learn in earnest, and dive a little bit more into some of the things that you guys are teaching and promoting and expanding in the world.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a thing that you even spoke to a little bit earlier there, because you mentioned being a control freak, and the teacher coming in and then kind of like starting to let go of it and loosening that grip, let's put it that way. Was there some sort of specific practice that you did as well, or was it more like a years and years of doing something or different things? What was it for you specifically that kind of helped you release that energy or grip?
It was one small winnable gap at a time. And so it started, I remember when it started, I came home from that training. I was in Tulum, Mexico, and I came home, and one of my sons, who was already starting to go a bit off the rails into addiction, was very chaotic. And I would try to manage where he was all the time and try to control. And I remember there was socks on the floor, and I asked him to pick up the socks. And he didn't pick up the socks. And I walked by, and everything in me almost lost my mind. And I was like, okay, Pam, is it that you're trying to control your son's behavior, or do you just want the socks picked up? And does it really matter if the socks get picked up or not? So I started just pausing and noticing the times when I was feeling out of control and my desire to control as a reaction. And then I could deal with that in the moment. I'm like, actually, I just want the socks picked up. I don't need Nicholas to pick up the socks. And so it was literally one thing at a time. When I would notice my tendency to control would come out, to pause and question, like, what is really going on here? And I noticed that it was when I felt scared or uncertain were the times that I would try to control. So knowing that helps me forecast when that might happen and look at ways that I can let go of some degree of control as I go. So it's layer by layer, and then I'm still working with that. I mean, I own my own companies and everything because I like to be in control. So I'm trying to use my powers for good. But it's simple, not easy.
I'm really glad that you said that sentence that you said right there, because I think I see this quite a lot, and a lot of people are, in my mind, unfortunately, looking for these very, very, like, give me the antidote quickly, give me the syringe, I can put it in, or whatever it is, or the pill maybe, to make me better and fix it quick. But a lot of the times these patterns run so deep, these feelings run so deep, we need to allow ourselves more time. We need to practice these years and years sometimes to get through it and understand what's underneath it. And actually understanding what's underneath it is crucially important. So guys, if you're listening to this, allow yourself the time to quite literally practice these things and practice getting through these things, and it's really, really important to do that.